One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to the news. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. Let's take a look at the headlines in our news. President Hichilema appoints new permanent secretaries. Muchinga province to have automated weather stations. ZRA seizes over 250 bags of mealie meal. And 15-year-old girl retrieved from forced marriage. And now the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has appointed and sworn in a set of permanent secretaries. Meanwhile, President Hichilema has also relieved Inspector General of Police Lemika Joba and his deputy Doris Nayame of their duties. President Hichilema has since appointed Grafeo Msamba as new Inspector General. The permanent secretaries appointed include Naomi Teta Mashimba as Permanent Secretary Special Duties at Cabinet Office, Hope Situmbeko as Permanent Secretary Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in charge of Administration, and Subeta Mtelo as Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development. Others are Christopher Simonga as Permanent Secretary Administration at the Ministry of Health, while Hapenga Kaveta is new Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development. Lydian Bwalia has been taken to the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, while Aubeti Malama goes to the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. Doti Chiwamba is the new Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment.
We get the drugs into the hospitals. We will have a third permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health to try and find a solution to this issue, so that each one of you will be dedicated to doing your role, but working with the other two and working within the vision of this government. We will not return this country to violence. Come rain, come sunshine, no one will be allowed to return this country to bloodshed in the bus stops, in the streets, in the markets. No one. There's no name there. There's no height there. That's what I said to Mr. Msamba. Please, you may take your seat. There's no Hichilema there. There's no namesake of mine, Sichilima. Let's restore professionalism. Let's restore respect for one another. Just one another. People abuse innocent citizens, they get away with it. No. From that abuse, it moves to carrying guns. Can you also clean out illegal guns?
Meanwhile, President Hichilema has expressed concern with the continued shortage of mealie meal being experienced in the country, despite Zambia being a large producer of maize. Speaking when he met the Millers Association of Zambia at State House today, President Hichilema said government will work together with millers and farmers in an effort to come up with a sustainable solution to the mealie meal deficit in the country. Mr. Hichilema stressed that the challenge of mealie meal should not be politicized, as government is doing everything possible to find a lasting solution. And Millers Association of Zambia President Andrew Chintala says millers are committed to work with government and food chain stakeholders to attain food security in the country. Mr. Chintala commended government for opening borders for export while ensuring that progress on the matter is being achieved. In Central Province, Chisamba Member of Parliament Chushikasanda has directed schools in Chisamba District to provide safe and clean drinking water for learners. Ms. Kasanda, who is also Information and Media Minister, says the provision of clean water in schools is critical, as the commodity is not only used for drinking but also other activities such as watering gardens. She has since urged school management not to only depend on Constituency Development Fund (CDF) for financing income-generating activities. Ms. Kasanda says schools should explore other sources of income such as school grants to implement developmental projects. She says government is funding developmental programs through different channels which schools can take advantage of. Still in Central Province, the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, has ordered a mining company in Kabwe to stop operating a kiln which has been running without approval. Director of Meteorological Department Edson Nkonde, who led a team of officers from ZEMA and the Meteorological Department, found Union Star, a plant involved in the processing of zinc oxide, operating a kiln without approval from authority. Shupe Nkunika has details.
A team of officers from the Zambia Environmental Management Authority and the Meteorological Department are inspecting mine processing plants in Central Province. This time, they have inspected Union Star, a plant involved in the processing of zinc oxide in Kabwe districts. The company, which was in 2019 authorized to operate one kiln, has started operating another one without approval from ZEMA. Plant manager Alison Way failed to explain why.
Until now, we just tested the machine. Even we just start working from this year. How many weeks?
So what
we just
we are saying,
work for some weeks.
What we are saying,
and then we wait for the ZEMA to approve.
What we are saying is, any activity before you even commence needs to have ZEMA approve. Okay?
Yes.
So anything that comes without approval goes against the law. You are contravening the law. So we don't expect this plant to be operational. Okay. Are we together?
Yes. Team leader Edison Nkonde, who is director at the Meteorological Department, cautioned the company.
Few issues that we need to address. To stop its operational, shut it down, because it hasn't been approved yet.
Meanwhile, people in neighboring residential areas are complaining of pollution. Shupekile Nkunika for Zanis in Kabwe Central Province.
In Mchinga Province, the Department of Meteorology is set to install automated weather stations in all the districts in the region. Mchinga Province Assistant Meteorological Technician Elga Luhanga says the department has embarked on a project to install the automated weather stations in a bid to have a wider scale of weather information. She told Zanis in an exclusive interview in Chinsali today that so far only Chinsali district has an operational automated weather station installed. Details in this report by Henry Rumpa Jr.
Change being a prevailing topic of concern in the country and the world at large, government through various line ministries has continued to play an integral role to ensure their involvement. The Department of Meteorology under the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment has been vocal on issues of climate change through their weather information. In this regard, Mchinga Province Assistant Meteorological Technician Helga Luhanga has disclosed that this department in Mchinga Province has embarked on a project to increase on the installation of these automated weather stations.
We have a project that we want to bring on board of installing automated weather station across all the district in Mchinga. So far we have one right here at our Chinsali office. We intend to install more in our secondary schools that are within Chinsali so that we can have at least a wider scale weather information that we're receiving.
Meanwhile, the weather expert also elaborated on the impact of the cyclone Freddy that ravaged Malawi on the weather pattern in Mchinga province.
In the recent month, we had Freddy, the cyclone that we just saw, which affected the eastern parts of Mchinga. Our colleagues in Chama, a lot of houses were submerged. Some houses were completely gone. These are the issues that we're talking about when we talk about the climate change.
The move by the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment in collaboration with other stakeholders of installing automated weather stations is one significant step towards technological advancements. Henry Lumpa Jr., Zanis in Chinsali, Mchinga province.
And in Northwestern Province, Ikelengi residents in the province have petitioned area Member of Parliament Elijah Mchima to ensure that paperwork on the setting up of the water reticulation system for the district is quickly concluded for works to begin. Ikelengi does not have piped water 14 years after it was declared a district. Take a look at this report by Victor Mwila.
Plenty flows across the length and breadth of the district. However, 14 years since becoming a district, Ikelengi still remains without a central water reticulation system to supply clean and safe drinking water. Ikelengi residents have now petitioned Area Member of Parliament Elijah Mchima, who is also Lands Minister, to help end the struggle.
With boreholes and pit latrines everywhere, there is no chance of drinking clean water. We need a proper water reticulation system.
The district is growing and we need reliable water supply to avoid continued digging of wells that pose a danger to children falling into them.
In his tour of the constituency, Mr. Mchima has announced that paperwork for the construction of a dam to supply piped water has already been finalized. The area MP has assured the community that works on the water dam will start within a month.
We will soon start construction works of a dam on Ruinga River to supply piped water in the district.
In socio-economic planning, supply of clean and safe drinking water is regarded as part of inclusive economic growth. Victor Mwila for Zanis in Ikelengi, Northwestern Province.
Still in the news, the Ministry of Tourism has launched a communication strategy in order to enhance information dissemination to the public on the potential of the sector in creating jobs. Minister of Tourism Rodney Skumba observes that the strategy will encourage local people to venture into the sector and contribute to the country's gross domestic product. Sunday Walia filed in this report.
In an effort to sustain the tourism sector, the ministry has launched a communication strategy to enhance the flow of information to the public and encourage them to invest in the sector. Minister of Tourism, Rodney Skumba, was on hand to launch the 4-year communication strategy in Lusaka yesterday.
Communication strategy on the website today will set the tone for the effective and efficient engagement of the ministry with its internal and with both its internal and external clients. And I think over a period of time, ladies and gentlemen, we have noticed a huge gap, a growing chasm between the client and the ministry. Some of the milestones that we alluded to earlier may not have been known because we did not have a platform that would interface with our clients. So we sat with the ministry's team, my PS and the team, to find out a way on how we could bridge that gap. As such, we realized that communication is crucial in the management of operations for both the public and the private sector.
Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Muhanga, in his presentation, also highlighted the strides which the ministry is undertaking to sustain the tourism sector.
As we are working very closely with Smart Zambia to ensure that the government service bus, the GSP, which is basically just to digitalize transactions that we do with all of you colleagues, we want to ensure that if you are applying for your license, you'll be able to do it digitally. If you are paying anything, do it digitally so that we can actually lessen human interaction and also ensure that we can be able to do things.
Earlier, Tourism Council of Zambia chairperson Yusuf Zumra was represented by Chandamwale.
Our expectations from the communication strategy are as follows. From this undertaking, it will enhance the implementation, identify action points and service delivery, not just at the ministry HQ, but also downstream coordination among all related statutory bodies.
The tourism sector has a huge potential to create jobs for the Zambian people. The reason this communication strategy is a step in the right direction. For Zanis in Osaka, I am Sunday Warrior.
As we continue with the news, the Zambia Revenue Authority at the Victoria Falls border post in Livingstone has seized over 250 bags of mealie that were being smuggled out of the country, destined to be sold in neighboring Zimbabwe. A total of 296 by 25 kilogram bags of mealie was confiscated from the traders. ZRA Commissioner General Dingani Banda has disclosed that the authority will, in collaboration with other state agencies, ensure that all exports of mealie and other maize products have valid permits and authorization before being exported. Mr. Banda, accompanied by other senior ZRA officials, has since donated the smuggled mealie to 3 public organizations based in Livingstone. He has warned that the authority will not relent in ensuring that all forms of smuggling activities are curtailed, saying both the products and the vessels used in the process will be seized and forfeited to the state. From Livingstone, we move to Chipata, where Chipata District Commissioner Elida Banda has commended security wings for curbing mealie smuggling to neighboring Malawi. Sylvester Chimba reports that the district commissioner is happy that currently there is no scramble for mealie in Chipata district, as witnessed in the past 2 weeks.
In the recent past, Chipata had experienced an artificial shortage of mealie, largely due to smuggling of the commodity into neighboring Malawi. But government has moved in swiftly to stabilize the situation through measures put in place by the defense and security wings to curb illegal export of mealie into the neighboring countries. Elida Banda is Chipata District Commissioner and is happy with the outcome of the action by the defense and security wings in the border town.
The mealie situation has now normalized in Chipata district. I would like to thank the men and women in uniform. Ever since they came on board to do their patrols and to make sure that mealie was not going across in large quantities, at least the situation in Chipata district has normalized. And even the millers, when you go to the millers, you'll find that mealie is there. When you go to the supermarkets, mealie is there.
And Chipata residents are happy that they are now able to access mealie from retail outlets without any queues.
Hapa nono ti vintu vankhalako mnomo kwa vantu zwapasa mateni kwacha vambogula unga akagula unga fo vampasa pote kwacha so chake so nono ti boma I'm sure yaikapo malamulo ya mphamvu kumbali ya nzathu maneba wathu amalawi because pangisha maningi congestion ya sokoleza neni kakambe
titokoza boma pakutunga wapaka manje atusi siwatantama vantu munga those days tizotantama much better now unga wankhalako wambiri.
Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development has commended government for normalizing the situation.
Tionga ziko mu government ya New Dawn government kuti apa chitira iza ipitirishe mtomo ni recent government babeza zovuta msanga imagwapo no yanga after tibwesera ma security winaya va control situation lomba vintu vonse vitabe buno kumawa kulibe problem yaunga alliance agula mungaende mshop limonse paliponse mupeza unga manje vintu vilinoma kuno kumawa.
Sylvester Chimba for Zanis in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
Meanwhile, in Luapula Province Joint Operations Committee, led by Provincial Joint Operations Committee Chairperson from the Zambia Army, Brigadier General Beit Kashumba, has warned Chembe residents against destabilizing the country's food security through smuggling of meal to the neighboring countries. Brigadier General Kashumba says smuggling poses a danger not only to national food security but also to national security, hence the need to heighten security in Chembe district. More in the following report.
With the rise in the activities of sneaking meal from the Zambian markets to our neighboring countries, a delegation from the Luapula Province Joint Operations Committee, led by Brigadier General Beit Kashumba, visited Chembe District, which borders the Democratic Republic of Congo, to conduct a sensitization meeting to the business communities and transporters on the importance of food security in the country.
Police bonse mwali kwati kutura fionse fya government mu ngwa mati yoko kule pitiro munga waya bachinkula ko no kanshi ndoro mwikera pa kuli flex tiko bala butukira twalanda kitwamba kwikata abantu ififungana fufya abaisi lokuteko na futi wala kitashani wala kwati oko na ule ndala meshingi batulefu atukwate buli obwa mpano obusimu bwa kwebati ubuteko bwa mfwa bwino na bashima kwebo bwa mfwa bwino nesha mfumusha mfwa bwino ukukalipa kwena kala kalipa ukukana chitisho bunga 500 muri one day
mundu ngaisa kati okay tie usende kwa kalunga mwana kalunga kumamba kumleto wala kumpana fowe ntwaishwa ta ngoko umuntu alentwala ni kwisoko.
Chief Kasamalwela, through Headman Chilonga, requested the delegation to clarify on how the citizens living beyond the Chembe border post barrier will be ferrying their meal to their homes.
Distance umwakula ikatira nga bashirika kutambira kuri bakapokola kuri national service mo bakula ikatira tubunga panzu chende yafika mumana
twalishwa kwa yabe karamu barashitobunga batwala mayanda ukufumya mayanda ukwabusha eparubo afi so umbanda since bamda ya pakati pa mwana pale nende ya pakati pa mwana pa nchiko Zambia side bamwe it's complicating the issue.
Ramo sabe sa profes kuma nkuri bishanya pa smuggling bantu nayo no kwishwa smugglers mwe wana ne motikala kono turi bakaye
yana marufa ngwesa mkutobunga kuno tulabashitala ubaraye kurafye foto kumona kula kule wala msha NRC.
Chembe Member of Parliament has urged Chembe residents to take heed to the
send the information ukutwala kubantu kulya ubuteko nabo tabufwaya ifimwa abamona ababunji babuteko tabafwaya filifya kwebati umuntu bale umefikoti kula umafikoti tabafwaya echo babumfisha uyumusango wabo wa sensitization.
The delegation later visited all suspected smuggling points and sealed them with tight security. Mijelo Mwemba reporting for Zanis in Chembe District in Luapula Province.
And finally, in the news, a Lufwanyama man has failed to locate his family after losing his memory due to sickness. The said man is believed to be in his early 20s and is being kept at Lufwanyama District Hospital, where he was admitted after he fell sick 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Lufwanyama District Hospital Administrator Chisamu Msamba has since appealed to the general public to help the man locate his family. Mr. Msamba said this in an interview with Zanis in Lufwanyama District.
I would like to make an appeal for people that might know our individual here. He's a mute, so we failed to have an interaction and he does not know how to use sign language. So we're asking for help if people can identify him. and come to Lufanyama District Hospital. He was dropped off by police officers. He had malaria when he was brought, but after being brought, tried to contact them, but they do not know of the whereabouts of any of his relatives. And he's refusing to stay on the wards. He's all over the hospital.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, let's take another look at the headlines in our news. President Hakainde Hichilema has appointed new permanent secretary and a new inspector general of police. Automated weather stations to be installed in all districts in Muchinga province. Government has seized over 200 bags of mini meal at Victoria Falls border. Thank you so much for watching. That is all we had packaged for you. Remember to join us tomorrow again for another edition. I am Henry Monde. It's goodbye for now.